Before I start, I want to thank any of the listeners that we've got out there of the Power Hour for helping to keep us on the air. How many listeners do we have out there? I know there's a few of you. I thank you. And the listeners know that this is going to be a team effort. If we're to get the information out about what truly happened on September 11th, we have to somehow overcome the mindset and the brainwashing that's been subjected upon the American people for not just the past several years, and not just the past several decades, but for several generations. Right off the bat, I'm going to say a word. We're going to play some word association. I want you all to scream the first word that comes to your mind. Are you ready? Conspiracy theory. Now, there are two words in that phrase. The active word is theory. By definition, a theory is an idea, a supposition, a concept. Here's an example. In theory, if I purchase a raffle ticket, I could win a prize. Now, as long as you don't buy that raffle ticket, that win is theoretical. But once you buy one raffle ticket, it becomes a possibility. And the more raffle tickets you purchase, the more possible and eventually probable your win becomes. That's what it is with a conspiracy theory. When you have no evidence, it is a conspiracy theory. But once you have one piece of evidence, no matter how circumstantial or flimsy it may be, it becomes a possibility. And the more evidence you gather, the more possible and eventually probable the conspiracy is. Now, we have to keep this in mind when we look at all the information about September 11th. Now, about 6 weeks ago, I released a documentary film called 911 in Plain Sight. Curiously, thank you. Curiously, there were some individuals that somehow found a way to write a review on this documentary 3 weeks before it was released. They said all kinds of things, said like this was manipulated footage. Yeah, that's what it was. It's doctored photographs. Yeah, photo workshop. That's the ticket. Yeah. I assure you that what you see on that video is unmanipulated, unaltered video footage and photographs. So let's put that to rest right away. For those of you that have seen the documentary, I actually held the DVD from CNN entitled America Remembers right up into the lens of the camera. And yet some still say it was manipulated footage. There are some folks that just don't want us to consider the possibility that maybe there was something other than a terrorist with a box cutter in his hand that was responsible for slamming planes into targets on September 11th. Now, you've seen some of the clips here about the Pentagon. 2.5 years ago, I wrote an article called From Deception to Revelation, and I was summarily raked over the coals for even having the audacity and the unmitigated gall to suggest that something other than a 757 had hit the Pentagon. People said I must have been some part of a COINTELPRO operation. Artichoke, that's what it was. And now, and I don't even want to bring up some of the websites out there that claim to want to know what really happened. Some of them really want to snoop around to find out what's really going on. You could figure it out. But when people look at these videos, the video clips in 911 in plain sight, the big question comes up, Dave, you're saying that no plane hit the Pentagon, and maybe the planes were switched that hit the towers. Wait a minute. What happened to the plane? You have to tell me what happened to that plane. Where are those people? You must have some sort of an idea. Well, yeah, I do. And if I came forward with that idea, it would be a conspiracy theory, wouldn't it? The whole point of the Project 911 in plain sight was to stick with video evidence and photographic evidence and ask questions. And that's all we did. Boy, some people really hate it when you ask questions. And for those of you that continue to ask the question, well, you have to tell me, where's the plane? Where are the people? I don't know. But let's consider this. Let's say you put a loved one on a bus here in New York, and they're going to go to Boston. What's it, about 5.5, 6 hours? Something like that. So you take them down to the Greyhound bus terminal. You put them on a Greyhound bus. They get on the Greyhound bus. They sit in the window of the Greyhound bus. Right over the logo says Greyhound bus. They wave to you on the Greyhound bus as it leaves the Greyhound bus terminal. 5.5 hours later, we interrupt this program to bring you a terrible news bulletin. Seems that a Greyhound bus has lost control and slammed into City Hall at Boston. There was a big explosion and everybody was killed. And of course there's terrible mourning and memorial services and all kinds of terrible things go on. Well, about 2 weeks later, somebody comes up with a photograph or a video of the bus just before it hit the city hall, and you know what? It says Trailways on the side. Question: where did the Greyhound bus go? Do you know? I don't know. But we look at the information and the physical, the photographic, and the video evidence, and they scream the questions, where did those planes go? Because they sure as hell didn't hit the Pentagon, and whatever hit those towers has a very serious question as to whether or not those were commercial aircraft at all. This is where we are with this investigation that needs to be started right now. Now, I want to ask the question, thank you. Take a look around you. Do you see any cameras from CBS, Channel 2, Channel 4, ABC, Fox, CNN? Are they here? No, they're not. You want to ask the question, why? Why is it, and I grew up here in New York City, I grew up in the Village, I grew up in Brooklyn, I watched those towers as they climbed their way into the sky. And when I saw them come down, it hit me very hard, because this is where I spent my wonder years. And I have to ask the question, why is it that now I live in a very rural area? I live in the center of the country. I'm out in the middle of flaming Nowhere, Missouri, a little town they call Versailles. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. And I want to know, how is it that me and William Lewis, the director, can go down there with tons of videos that were sent to us by our listeners, and again, I thank every single one of you for sending us the videotapes, because without your help, the video project would not have been possible. The networks will not provide video footage, they will not provide releases, and they will not allow America to see this video footage, because some guy got on television a couple months after September 11th and said, we got to stop showing all these video clips of America being attacked no more, because we need time to heal. Once you see these video clips in slow motion, you'll understand why they won't show them anymore. And for those of you that are curious, go to the Borders or the Barnes & Noble and buy the CNN disc, America Remembers. The video clips are right there. Now, I don't want to take too much time. We're running really late, but there's a couple of points that need to be made. First of all, let this be seen as no political football. We have one party in this country. It is the U.S. corporate party with subparty A, Republicans, and subparty B, the Democrats. We have to understand that the largest industry in this country is the defense contracting industry, because it includes communications, agriculture, industry, technology, and anything else you can name. And war means money. We don't have a Cold War, and we don't have the Russians to have boogeymen anymore. China is our biggest trade partner. The United States is the world power. We don't have a boogeyman. Well, golly gosh, don't you think they need to create one? So I have to go back to where I started. Conspiracy theory. I will now give you an example of a conspiracy theory. On September 23rd, Condoleezza Rice had a news conference, and she stated, and I'm paraphrasing right now, she said, we have definitive proof that links Osama bin Laden and the Taliban to the events of September 11th, and we will release that information in due time. To this day, we're still waiting. We have not seen one piece of evidence that links Osama bin Laden and the Taliban directly to the planning stages of September 11th. And when you have no evidence and you charge somebody of conspiracy, that is a conspiracy theory, isn't it? The only difference is if you're George Bush and company in the United States government, you get to launch not one, but 2 wars half a world away, kill tens of thousands of innocent men, women, and children, and contaminate the entire region for 4.5 billion years with depleted uranium. I don't know what the solution is, ladies and gentlemen, but the silence is deafening from the mainstream media, and I think that the only thing that we have to do right now is to mount a massive million-man media march in every city across this country and scream, we want the truth. And I will finish by making the same statement I made at the end of my video, and I will ask you all, where is your line in the sand? Thank you very much.